From Newsweek, by way of MSN, Joe Biden is now beating Donald Trump with Republican pollsters as well. So I guess this means that Beau Biden was always beating Donald Trump with Democrat pollsters, which I don't really believe that was the case, right? We heard for many weeks that Joe Biden was, sinking like a stone in the polls. But now, as we get closer to the election, somehow people are crawling back on the Democrat plantation and saying we got to vote for Beau Biden, right? I just don't think this is true. And I actually gave credit to Newsweek for writing some level-headed articles recently, but I think this is a complete lie. Joe Biden is narrowly beating Donald Trump ahead of November's presidential election, according to a new poll. The survey from Echelon Insights, which was co-founded by former Republican digital strategists, and they use this term Republican, like, well, of course, the Republicans would have wanted Donald Trump to win. It's like, dude, the terms, well, Democrats are absolutely crazy, but Republicans are just kind of cowards, right? And there's a whole bunch of weirdo establishment Republicans, but they use that term and want you to think, well, they're even siding with Beau Biden, and it's just not true, but whatever. Former Republican digital strategist Patrick Ruffini and pollster Kristen Soltis Anderson found that 49% of respondents would either definitely, probably, or lean to voting for Biden, while 46% said they would opt for Trump. Okay, definitely, probably, or lean towards voting for Biden. The poll surveyed 1,020 likely voters and was conducted from April 24 to April 14, has a margin of error of plus or minus 3.9%. The context: in March, it was confirmed that Biden and Trump will face off against each other in November, with both winning enough delegates to secure their respective parties' presidential nomination, teeing up a 2020 White House rematch. Yeah. Since then, polling has increased, with some showing the incumbent ahead in a bid for a second term and others showing Trump on pace to get the keys to the White House a second time. So we went out of our way, and Beau Biden even said this himself, I believe, to the extent that he can actually put together a sentence, that they found new pollsters, right? So just go ahead and call the people. Go ahead and call our text message list, right? Joe Biden's running YouTube ads. Hey, you gotta vote for me, kill your baby, right? Go ahead and call those people and use that as a poll so we can figure out, so we can say that we're actually up in the polls, which I don't know why they would want to say that, because if you're down in the polls, you might be able to muster a little bit more support from the handful of morons who are still thinking that Orange Man bad. It doesn't make any sense.
This doesn't make any sense.
A recent string of polls has suggested Biden has taken the lead. Doubt it. Absolutely doubt it. And look, we can all take the polls with a grain of salt, right? We remember 2015 or 2016 when I think President Trump had 1% chance of winning. It's all completely fake, just like the news. What we know: the latest poll is significant in that it is from a Republican pollster and still shows Biden. And there you go. Look, the Republicans are even admitting that Beau Biden's in the lead. Okay, whatever. It also found that 49% of people said they would vote for a Democratic candidate in congressional elections, while 46% said they would vote for a Republican candidate. 38% of respondents to the poll said they considered themselves a Democrat, while 37% said they were a Republican, and 23% as independent. And I just truly don't believe this, because there was another article from only a week or so ago about the quote-unquote wokest states out of all 50, with D.C. included, and you had to get to the most quote-unquote woke state to even see a majority of libtards, right? So how is this possible? Massachusetts, I believe, was the wokest state, and they had the lead of self-identified liberals by like 1 or 2 percentage points. And now you're telling me that as we get closer to the election, more people are deciding they're going to vote for Beau Biden. And we saw the split screen of Donald Trump. I mean, not really a split screen, but, one day apart, less than 24 hours apart, Trump goes to the bodega after showing up at a kangaroo court. And then Beau Biden the very next day goes to a coffee shop in Scranton, Pennsylvania, his hometown. And there's like half a dozen awfuls there pretending that I guess they really can't see the truth, but whatever. And look, the rest of it's not worth reading. It's absolute nonsense from Newsweek. But down here, a couple paragraphs, they they debunked their own headline and basically showing that Trump is in the lead all over the place. Notably Arizona 45 to 51 for Trump, and Arizona, I mean, has been completely hijacked, right? Ask Kari Lake. She's made some missteps recently, but there's just no way that Katie Hobbs, when I don't want to give her a platform. The people of Arizona are going to vote for me.
Why not debate your opponent? If you believe your opponent is, has issues in spreading conspiracy theories about a stolen election and so on, and it's not being truthful with the people of Arizona, why then not get on the debate stage and debate her?
Not only is Kari Lake, has she centered her entire platform around this election denialism, I didn't want to give her a bigger stage to do that. But additionally, she has shown that she's not interested in having any kind of substantive conversation. She's only interested in creating a spectacle.
But
and I didn't want to be.
If you were in the same space with her, wouldn't it be easier to knock it down in front of everyone, in front of the most people? Because you're not stopping her from spreading whatever you believe that she is spreading. By not debating her, she can go on television, she can talk about it, she can go in front of the people of Arizona every single day and talk about it, but you're not confronting her on it. And it seems like it would be an easy fix if you stood up on a debate stage and confronted her about these issues.
Look, we're 6 days out from the election, and our campaign strategy is our campaign strategy. So we're moving forward. I'm continuing to make my case to the voters of Arizona. Whether or not we debated in this race is not going to decide this election. So, we made a decision, didn't want to be a part of her spectacle, and she's not, she won't answer these tough questions to real reporters. She only talks to fake news.
But Secretary, it's not just her that you won't debate. You also did not debate your Democratic primary opponent, Marco Lopez. Why? And have you ever?
I was miles ahead of him. I was miles ahead of him in the race and won handily. It's a totally different situation here.
There's just no way. And here is the survey they're actually talking about, which is Echelon Insights. But one thing I noticed is that it's based in Alexandria, Virginia. So you can't trust them as far as you can throw them. This is, I believe, the same region where Jen Psaki's from, and she was very surprised that people in Virginia are concerned about illegal immigration.
If you look at some of these exit polls, I live in Virginia. Immigration was the number one issue. Yes. Again, these could change in Virginia.
Well, Virginia does have a border with West Virginia. Very contested area.
Build the wall. Like, what?
And here you have it. Beau Biden, 43% favorable versus 55% unfavorable. And it looks like he's leading. Trump is leading in the favorability percentage. Look, this is a whole bunch of mess. They're going to muddy the waters just to, jump through these flaming hoops and turn themselves into a pretzel to let you know that I guess Beau Biden is kind of leading, but we can all see it. It's too late. And here's another one. This is from NBC, and I've been using, obviously, MSN because I guess this is what they're pumping to a lot of people, and they really want you to read this, but 7 big issues at stake in the 2024 election. And of course, a woman with a mask going to bat for the murder of babies. Absolutely ridiculous. Imagine that being basically your entire thing, right? So you go to bat for the Transformers, you send the weirdo with the fake tits on the lawn, and you say that Easter is Transgender Day of Visibility. The Jumanji Brown Jackson doesn't know what a woman is.
Can I provide a definition? No.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
The meaning of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
But it's also a woman's right to choose. It's just absolutely through the roof. So this woman, the lady in the back is kind of cute, I guess, with the sunglasses and the varsity Letterman. And I also don't know if it's hot or cold there. She's got a hoodie and a jacket versus this lady just in a tank top with a mask and sunglasses saying that abortion is a human right. Abortion is a human right. Give me a break, lady, because the person that you aborted had no rights, but I digress. The policy contrast between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump are sharpening as the general election campaign gets fully underway. And do we really think that the weirdo abortion crowd, I mean, they don't like Beau Biden either, because now I think, and this maybe I'm giving them a little bit too much credit, but the weirdo lefties, they say that they don't like Genocide Joe because of whatever Gaza, Palestine, but I think that's a little bit of a cop-out, right? I mean, they know that everything is absolutely terrible, Gaza, Palestine included, but that is their way of saying, oh, yeah, okay, maybe we're not going to do this. Because they can't say, all right, well, Trump was better. So now they're going to say, oh, there's a war, oh, sun monster, climate change, which, whatever, I'll take what I can get. But what does the choice represent for ordinary voters and the economic and cultural issues they care about? A rematch between the Democratic incumbent and the word Democrat, but for the record, I mean, it's absolute poison. These people are nuts, right? Again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Republicans are a little slimy, they're a little slippery, they're a little spineless, but the Democrats are absolutely insane. They're telling you that you should bin your baby, you should continue to wear a mask, and if you don't bin the baby, then you should birth him and then cut the dick off and turn him into a lifelong pharmaceutical patient. Anyhow, and his Republican predecessor may feel uninspiring to many voters. That's another thing that they always do. They go, well, people don't like either choice. No, what you mean to say is that even Democrats don't like Beau Biden, right? You can see in Harlem just the other day, there's hundreds of people outside chanting Trump, 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 4 more years USA. So, they're uninspiring to many voters. Yeah, right. It's just that your guy, your empty suit hack puppet, Beau Biden, nobody likes this guy for whatever reason. Maybe it's because of the corruption. Maybe it's because of the spending. Maybe it's because of the sun monster. Maybe it's because of Gaza, but it's absolutely terrible. And for the millionth time, this will only boil down to whether voting is real or not. But the policy stakes are enormous for tens of millions of Americans and the world. And this, of course, is why they're also trying to bring in millions of illegals. Abortion. Oh, the contrast. Biden favors federal abortion protections. Trump opposes them. Yeah, I mean, imagine that being your whole thing is like, yes, with me, we're going to let you kill your baby, right? And then they constantly want to use the rape and incest thing, which, of course, I've made the argument plenty of times that rape and incest are likely the same thing, because if you have an incestual, consensual relationship, they're probably going to want to keep the baby, in which case we have an entirely different set of problems. Immigration, the contrast. Trump has promised a sweeping crackdown on illegal immigration and tougher executive actions. Biden is asking Congress to give him more tools to manage an overwhelmed border and create new legal pathways to immigrate to the U.S. So there you have it. That's a perfect ad for Trump. Trump's going to crack down on the illegals, and Beau Biden is going to ask for more money to make them legal, and they're going to be in the states committing crimes, driving Uber Eats, and using stolen motorcycle scooters, stolen SSNs, right? I mean, I guess there's a couple weirdos in California or Washington, but even New York at this point, I think they've had enough, right? I think they've had enough, and nobody's going to want to do that now. Healthcare and prescription drugs, the contrast. Biden wants to extend Affordable Care Act provisions. Look, it doesn't even matter. It's all boiling down to communism. Look, I'll spare all of this because it doesn't really matter. My only point was to highlight the idea that Joe Biden, apparently, as we get closer to the election, is leading Trump in the polls because I guess these issues, right? So Beau Biden is leading in some polls, but not in other polls. And of course, we have to take the polls with a grain of salt. But he's leading, and abortion and immigration, I mean, maybe abortion, right? Because that is an extreme position. Those people have been properly brainwashed to make sure that, I do not want this responsibility and I'm going to commit an atrocious, barbaric act to get rid of it. They're in so deep, so I could kind of understand that. And of course, if you let them have their rape and abortion carve out, they wouldn't accept that because they want to blanket, they want to They want abortion through kindergarten. Because if you say, okay, fine, you could do that, but in any other case, you can't have an abortion, they would not agree to it because it's used to blanket everything. But my point is, maybe in some weird way, and I'm sorry, I'm just spitballing here, stream of consciousness, but I don't think that the majority of the country, I truly don't think that the people in the middle of the country, Kansas, Kentucky, even Arizona, right? We just see what they did with abortion. A whole bunch of states I don't believe are truly on board with this. And when you ask any of them, when you ask any of these high-level Democrats or whatever, I think John Kennedy, there's a handful of people, Marsha Blackburn, who said, do you support abortion up through 9 months? And then they refused to answer the question.
Do you support making it legal to abort an unborn baby for any reason, up to the moment before birth?
Senator, let's have that intellectual discussion that you want.
We could start if you'd answer my question. I can't go to my next question until you answer that question.
I want you to be able to go to your second and your third questions. I do. But as I have explained, there are many different conditions.
No, I said unfettered discretion. No conditions. I'm making it easy for you.
Well, I've already shared with you, Senator, that I support women's
I don't want to use all my time. You're not going to answer it, and that is your right. But I would respect you more if you just say, "Here's my answer."
I'm sorry that you don't respect me very much.
I do respect you, but I said I'd respect you more if you just answer my question.
So basically, they're just telling you to obey. My point here is maybe, in some weird way, if you take the handful of radicals in New York and Illinois and Washington and California, maybe abortion is a big issue for them. But do we really think that immigration is going to come out and Joe Biden's going to be leading on that issue? Especially considering how New York has been destroyed by the asylum seekers. They have been paroled into the country and they are fully legal because Eric Adams says so. It's all completely despicable. But I digress. The entire thing here, right? Full circle. Beau Biden is now beating Donald Trump with Republican pollsters as well, and I highly doubt it, as if it mattered.